You can tell it's a really cold day, and I'm not walking today. It's too cold to do that. I'm actually sitting here in my car waiting to pick up my family from the airport. I'm getting ready to head out to a couple of conferences, and the last one is going to be in Clare, New Brunswick, where at the Clare conference, and it's a francophone conference. It's going to be my first keynote all in French. So one of the ways that I'm preparing for the conference and to be living and breathing French, and of course practicing my own language skills, is I'm using an app called DuoLingo. And what's interesting to me about the app is not only how the app works, but the thinking behind it. So here's what it is. In the app, it teaches you how to learn different languages. I think they've got English, French, German, Spanish, and Portuguese. I think Italian's coming up soon. And you pick any of those pairs. What do you speak and what do you want to learn? And it walks you through some kind of games, language games, where you read the language, you speak the language, you hear the language, move words around with your fingers, and there's so many hearts that you try to hang on to before you lose the game and have to try again. But the real key of the game is they get you to translate web pages. See, because the internet, like if you took an article on Wikipedia and looked at the French Wikipedia and the English Wikipedia and maybe the Spanish Wikipedia, you'd find that that same article actually has different content in it in all three languages. So the problem is, how do we unleash all that information for all learners in all languages across the internet? Well, what they do with DuoLingo is, once you've learned some of the basics of the language, they then have you translate real websites. And they compare your translation to the translations of thousands, perhaps millions of other people around the world as they're trying to learn the same target language you are. And based on how good your translation is, as it's compared to these other human translators, you succeed or fail at that translation. They also grade the translation so that, if you're at the beginning of learning, you get an easier one, and later on you get a hard one. That's kind of neat, because translation, for anyone who's tried to translate something between two languages, that's really difficult. And humans are much better at understanding the sense, the nuance behind the words, the connotations that words have when it comes to doing translations. And so, while I like the app for learning, and I highly recommend it, what I like better is the thinking behind it. There are certain things that humans are really, really good at, and when we distribute the effort of doing that work across a larger group, we're capable of doing some tremendous things. I wonder what sorts of things you're doing as a teacher, maybe planning your lessons or preparing assignments or preparing any kind of assessment that you might do with your students. That's lots of hard work for you. But what if there was a way to distribute and transfer that work onto the students? How would you do that? What would the assignment be, and how would you redistribute it so that every student makes some small contribution to some larger work? Is there anything like that in what you do?